Hey everybody, Dawn Zoldi here, the CEO of P3 Tech Consulting. And today I've got with me Kevin Fray, the Vice President, Field CTO of Mark43. And we're going to share with you the public safety platform of the 21st century. Say hi to everybody, Kevin.
Hi everybody, how you doing?
Awesome. So before we get into demonstrating this amazing platform, let's go ahead and roll a quick video.
I happened to make a phone call a little over 10 years ago to the folks at Mark43. We were looking for a better records management system.
If you don't have the right CAD and RMS system, somebody else is going to tell the story for you and you might not like it.
Mark43 proposed that we could use tablets, and the young police officers love the new tools.
Mark43 helps us get that real-time information to deploy resources and create that credibility with the community.
When you're dealing with a major event, you need information immediately. Mark43 can get that quickly and accurately.
Our goal for public safety is to prevent these crimes. My acceptable crime rate is 0.
With Mark43, we could keep our cops in the field. It reduced the amount of time to process reports.
You become a partner with them and they listen to you. They really are lockstep with policing.
And they were the only ones that can answer my questions as an executive. That's my excitement about bringing Mark43 in our department.
All right, very good. You know, as they say, a picture paints 1,000 words. And today we're going to paint that picture for you of 3 separate functionalities of the Mark43 platform: computer-aided dispatch, or CAD, records management system, RMS, as well as analytics. And let's Kevin, over to you.
Yeah. So first and foremost, awesome sizzle reel. Love that. Love some of our great partners and some of my favorite Mark43 people here. And as you said, Dawn, I'm going to go ahead and kick this off with the CAD. And already what I've posted here is our mapping screen. So pitch, right? What is Mark43? What is CAD? What is our public safety platform? So the moment that, you're on the street or, you're at home and you dial 911, right, it's going to go through the circuit. It's going to dump off to what's called a public safety access point or a telecommunications center. That's going to be your first line of telecommunicators that are going to take the ingress of your event. And so the computer-aided dispatch, or CAD system, as this is referenced within the public safety industry, is going to be the software that dispatcher, the call taker, the call center immediately uses, right? And so what I like to first start on is the mapping screen, because again, one of the big differentiators with Mark43 and one of the great things and aesthetically pleasing things about our platform is our mapping technology, right? A lot of public safety agencies use what's called Esri, or they'll refer to it by the actual software platform, which is ArcGIS, right? And so we have ArcGIS built directly into our product. So right now what you're looking at is a demonstration environment around Louisville Metro Police Department, Jefferson County in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, one of my favorite partners of Mark43, but they have a lot of great GIS resources. And again, as that call is coming in and as you're looking at, different units, like this is a police unit, actually 260 Alpha is going to be the unit that I am logged in as during the demonstration here that you'll use, and you'll actually seeing a tether to like my physical location because it's picking up the GPS. But ultimately, again, as these call taker or telecommunicators looking at the call or the information coming in, and they're looking at units and they're looking at cameras maybe on the map, or they may be tracking drones or other assets of apparatus or equipment that first responders be using. This is just one part of the platform. Now I'll take it over to a little bit of some other screens, right? And again, once I start getting into the real demonstration and actually like dispatching some units and kind of getting through the life cycle of an event, we'll come back to the map. But the map is just one of 3 very important screens. Another very important screen, which I've just switched to right now, is what's referred to as your queues, right? And so you have that visual display on the map of where things are, what's happening, right? But you also have like a list view here, right? So if you look at how I've set up my queues, and one of the great things about the Mark43 computer-aided dispatch system is, you can actually set these queues up any way that you want to, because dispatchers, they have their own little flavors of how they want to do things, and how they want to move units and, see information displayed. So,
and like Kevin, could they, for example, like triage in this, like a priority call or something horrific just happened and that needs to take priority?
Exactly. So what you're looking at right now, the queue that I've selected, this is the unassigned event. So as 911 calls are coming in, or police officers are seeing things, or like, you get a call, these are all the events right here, and based on their priority. And I can sort by this priority, right? It doesn't have to be, the way it is right now. So like my priority 5s are now aligned, and they're, different visual indicators depending on timing and again, the type of call. And then as you look to the bottom, I've combined the calls and my event. So you'll see here that these are traffic stops plus like the unit. So I see unit, 825 alphas on this traffic stop. And then based on the color, I immediately know what like the status of this unit is. So this orange color means they're en route. This green color means that 125 alpha is on the scene right here at 800 Main Street. And I can quickly decipher that just in like one view, right?
Oh,
and then
yeah, that's awesome.
And then on the far right-hand side, these are just all the available units, right? So if I wanted to take, and I said I'm going to, pick on 260 alpha. If I wanted 260 to go to this call, I just drag and drop it over here, and then boom, 260 is on that call. And then, based on like the status of 260, he's been dispatched, and we can like start going through the life cycle of what's going on there.
Okay, really cool.
Now, the third most important screen, and I'll just double click on this, right? And it'll go ahead and pop this open, but the call, right? So I'll minimize this just to get some screen realty, right? Again, it's live, and typically in a real environment, we're on a WebEx, right? So I'm showing you screen at a time, but in a production environment, the dispatcher might have 4 monitors, right? And like 3 screens that I've shown you would be one on each monitor. They'd have the queues up, they'd have the map up, they'd have like the event window, which is what I'm opening right now. And this is where you're like documenting information for the event. So as like you're getting radioed in, tow requested, or, spell correct, ambulance requested, right? Other details, maybe something dangerous is happening, like in, suspect has, highlight information here, gun, and you can like call situational awareness to like the gun there. Or I could like put in a license plate and have it like very specially kind of shining. So again, it's just all about situational awareness and just having those visual indicators to key, the next best action by the dispatcher or telecommunicator.
Got it. Very cool. Now, how does this work? Is this cloud native? And if so, can you explain the importance of that?
Yes, yeah. So, I'll clear out this call, and I'll, jump back to, again, the map screen to, show something a little bit cool and actionable. But yeah, one of the great things about the platform you're seeing me right now in the web form, the web view, is that it's completely, it's cloud native. So from the infrastructure standpoint, we've built this product and this platform using Amazon Web Services best-in-class tools and microservices. So all the way from things like the load balancers to the S3 buckets to a service-oriented architecture, separating microservices so that the entire platform isn't built monolithically. So as errors occur, we can just spin up new servers, and our partners don't really get to feel downtime or feel any interruptions of service. This is a big deviation from where a lot of the industry is going. We like to reference that as lift and shift. So a lot of times they're taking legacy software or legacy platforms that are developed in monolithic ways and developed in kind of old 2010 style, and they're just taking that code and putting them on new servers. And ultimately there's not, yeah, you might get some redundancies there, but you're not going to get the value of best-in-class tools, or the value that one code base, a modern platform with can drive you. So for example, I'm showing you the map right now. I'm switching it between satellite and like default mode, but just in the last 2 years, we've upgraded our entire like mapping infrastructure. And we've been able to do that without, taking the software down or pushing out patches or pushing out releases. We just change the infrastructure to the platform and, just make sure that, we're balancing green, blue servers and just switch it from one server to the next so that, again, our end users do not experience, interruptions in service, or they do not have to take on the burden of, software development cycles.
Got it. And I imagine that ability enables this to be very modular and configurable.
Exactly. And so, we have several customers, right? Louisiana State Police does not use the platform in the same way that, Fresno Sheriff's Office doesn't use it in the same way that California Highway Patrol does. So, we have to be very thoughtful in our design. While being cloud native, having one code base, using modern tools gives us, high, super fast time to market. We still have to take a step back and make sure that the features that we push and the enhancements that we create are configurable or can mold to the customer's problems. I like to say to my team, no excuses, just solutions. And at the end of the day, whenever we're working with our partners, just get in, listen to them, lead with empathy, and then get into the administrative panel. And we can make very wholesale changes to the platform in a short amount of time. Again, not interrupting service and development. It's just a refreshing of the cache, logging in and logging out, and the changes get realized.
Awesome. Kevin, did you want to walk us through kind of an incident lifecycle using this before we get to the records management functionality?
Yeah. Let's go ahead through an incident lifecycle here. So, all right. So we'll start, kind of at a CAD event. I cleared this right here, but starting at your queues, and you're seeing right now we have command line. So again, a lot of legacy platforms will have a command line. It's like a little bit of a DOS prompt, and they want users want to be able to put information in the platform fast, right? So being able to type it versus point and click is just a user preference. And again, seconds turn to minutes, turn to hours, save lives. So generally when a call comes in, right, we have what's called an E911 controller, but the integration would push the call in. You get ANI-ALI, which was referred to as automatic number, automatic location identification, right? And so, boom, I'll load up some preloaded, information here. But you'd see this on the right-hand side. You see like where the caller information comes in. You'd be able to get some location data, and I'd be able to one button click and pull that data in and start, identifying, where that area is or where the call is coming in. So first off, the call comes in, you get a latitude and longitude from the cell phone tower. You also could possibly get, some more accurate information. We have an integration with a platform, our service called Rapid SOS, which has like very, very accurate caller data. So we can really, really drill in on like the location of the calls, which is extremely important for solving the problem. So we know that, say the caller's coming in 700 Central Avenue, which is Churchill Downs. The cell tower is kind of, resolving to this. I can one button click and kind of see on the map where information is coming from. So I don't have to, be, monolithic to, again, what's going on. I can see all this information here. All right, maybe this is, the call tower, right? So you can confirm this. I'll go ahead and drill this down to, 700 Central just to make sure I'm drilling on the right location. Boom, one button click. And then I've automatically like pre-populated the information based on like the different disciplines. So police, fire, EMS, based on like their locations data, it automatically resolves the address to like the district, the sector, the beat, the grid, right? So you can know, if it's a fire department, what firehouse this is automatically assigned to, what police, how you divide up your areas or your jurisdictions as police officers. Then you'd be able to just hit tab here a couple times, right? Update that data. You put in the call for service type. We'll say this is suspicious person call, suspicious vehicle call. And then you'd be able to start putting in notes on this. So suspicious male wandering in the parking lot, right? Just an example. One button click, save that call, and now this call is in your queues, right? I've created this call. One button click here, I can jump back to the queue screen, and you'd see right here the suspicious person vehicle call. This is the call that I just created right here.
And I learned something. So the yellow then, or the orange at the bottom, will show the vehicle that's en route to that suspicious call.
Exactly. Now this is a call. This is a separate call. And then, real quick here on the queues, I can see like some high level information. There's a little red check box here. This little red location lets me know that there's some cautions, right? So you can track, information at that location. Like maybe maybe it's a known gang hangout. Maybe there's some construction next door, right? So you can have situational awareness of things going on at that location that are stored at the public works level, or even just at the city level, right? So let's say, again, I want to dispatch 260 Alpha to this call. I can do the drag and drop like I showed you earlier here. So 260 Alpha is going to this call. Boom, 260 Alpha has been assigned to this call. And now it moves from here down to an assigned queue, and it's updated the status of 260 here. So this is the call. And then I can, right click and, update, the status of that unit. So let's say he's been dispatched, radios to me that, he's en route. So now I've updated them to en route, and the code or the code that aligns to, their unit status has been updated.
Got it. Very cool. I mean, just a couple clicks of the button and all the information you see, I think is really critical, especially in an emergency where, as you said, Kevin, seconds count, lives are hanging in the balance, times in these situations. So, being a lawyer, my brain also goes to, by the way, but I was a prosecutor in the Air Force and worked quite frequently with our security forces, as well as our Office of Special Investigations. Those records that are generated in these incidents are critical. And so tell us how this CAD system, how it feeds into your RMS. What is the connection there?
Excellent. Great question. So there's a couple places, and this is a good spot for transition from like the telecommunication side of the house to the field and to almost like the back office, or what would happen at the agency, like you said, with the investigators, starting at the kind of patrol level and pushing it, downstream to the reactive side of the house, right, which would be your investigations. So
exactly.
First off, as you're looking at like the event here, and I'll open this up, a little bit bigger, right? First off, I can see 260s assigned to this event. But one of the things,
let's make sure there we go. We got the demo going. Gotcha. Go ahead.
So one of the things that you see is based on the location, it looks into the records management platform and provides you situational awareness. So if you look right here, Frank Kendrick, Amy Moulton, right? And then you see some cautions for Frank Kendrick. He may be a career criminal, or he might have some history in the investigations platform, right? So Frank or Amy either work or live at this location. Additionally, I have a one button click right here. And if I click that, this is actually going to open my, records management platform, and will open this user profile, what we call the master name entity. So I can see like Frank's career criminal history right here. And this is really zoomed in. I can see his mugshot. I can click on like his reports information. So again, this is like, I like to say this is the Facebook of career criminal history, but all of his previous incidents that have happened. And then I can even drill down and see like, okay, this one happened at Churchill Downs, right? And it's just another tab. It's just, I can just always bounce between that. Also right here, there's a little button that says related data. At this incident location, I can see like the last 5 calls or events that happened. I can see that there's like 343, case files or, investigations or incidents that have happened here. And then as I scroll down, I could see any like vehicle tows or any vehicle history here. So we like to say there's a bi-directional interface between the dispatch system and the records management, case management side, but really it's one platform. We just say bi-directional because usually in the industry, there's, separate products that are integrating with each other to even do this. Mark43, one platform, cloud native. So situational awareness in the stream or in the flow of the event. Again, seconds, minutes, it's lives on the line.
So Kevin, if I'm the patrol person, and I'm on the scene, how is this working for me from a mobile standpoint? In other words, we're seeing, I think, quite a bit also from the dispatch side. But as the patrol person inputting this data, like what's this looking like for me from the RMS standpoint? Am I seeing the same thing as the dispatcher? Can I?
Great question. So I've minimized my screen. and I've logged in here. If you look on the right-hand side of the screen, I have
Yeah.
my mobile phone. So this is a smartphone. This is a huge differentiator. So either in the field, the officer can either be on a smartphone, or, and I'm putting the mobile interface here, or they'd have their MDT, MDC, their mobile data terminal, their mobile data computer. So on
Yeah.
the left side here, this is what the mobile computer looks like, and on the right side, this is my actual like cell phone. So and you can actually use both. We've had instances where you know, officers have been driving down the street, they get into a chase or a foot chase, they park their car, they hop out, and then the dispatcher is tracking both the vehicle and they're tracking the officer's cell phone. So as the officer, and look, I'll you know, type some information, or I'll do talk to text. From
Yeah.
a cell phone, the officer can take advantage of the device's native talk to text and update CAD call notes or call information. If you see there,
Let me ask you a question though, Kevin, because you said this is a differentiator, so I understand what you mean by that. Do other systems, like when an officer is on scene, they can see things in their car because there's usually like some kind of a computer set up there, to walk to the incident, whether it's another vehicle or like just say a house. When they leave that vehicle, are they leaving in normal circumstances, oftentimes leaving that information behind? Now they can have it on like a cell phone, just like right in their hand.
yes, definitely, definitely. And you know, even extrapolate that to like an apartment complex or a place, or you know, places that are built up, you know, very vertically, right? I was at a city, you know, very recently, and they were saying, you know, the officer might have to go to a call that's, you know, in an apartment or in a condominium, right? And they're leaving that mobile data terminal, you know, in their computer. They're going all the way upstairs to the 25th floor or something. They're taking a bunch of notes, and then they're going back down to the computer, finishing their report, then coming back up and like handing off that paper, right? With your mobile data or your smartphone applications, you'll be able to like update the notes. You'll be able to do this in real time without, you know, going back and forth, without, you know, possibly being out of radio range. And, you know, again, just taking advantage of modern technology. Additionally, if I come over here to this little tab called Dex, right? I can start to run persons or vehicles from my cell phone. I can also do it from my mobile data terminal as well. But one of the great things, you know, and this is a great thing for officer safety, I could come over here, scan a driver's license right here. I'll scan, you know, one of my old driver's licenses right here. It'll ask me to scan the front side of it, flip me to the back, scan the back side, up, move closer, boom, it's going to parse that data. And then I can go ahead and send this and run, you know, a little dummy, you know, NCIC or background check. But this is also going to provide results, you know, based on the DMV photo, the other criminal databases. And then if you look in the car interface too as well, it's like provided all the hits here too as well. I'll get my DMV photo. Again, this is a demonstration environment, and it'll also run the records management platform. So I don't need to jump into the RMS and do a run in the on the internal system as well. So, you know, this can save a lot of time. It can keep officers off the side of the road where a lot of, you know, accidents tend to happen. And again, just keeping people safe and providing that key critical information at the tips of their fingers.
Well, and all this is visible. It's how does that then become a final report, right? Like as a prosecutor, that's what I cared about, was getting that whatever that looked like. Of course, you as I do, that, you know, the starting point. I always had to interview the officer and all the witnesses in addition, but does all this information that you've been showing us, Kevin, can you click a couple buttons and start generating a report?
Yeah, so these are great questions. So from that smartphone interface, I come over here to my little ellipse menu. I also can do this from the mobile data terminal. I'll generate the case number, right? So this is that line of demarcation between the computer-aided dispatch and records management. So this is saying event, we need to write a report in case management system, records management system. This is that separate report number, and it's being housed in a, you know, different system. I'll confirm that I want to generate that. And then as you come to your mobile data terminal, right, you'll see that there's a report right here. I also, from the smartphone application, can come over to this little, notepad, and I can start collecting information, taking pictures. I can start adding individuals or persons or digital assets from the field. Or I can just go ahead and one button click, from my mobile data terminal, and I can go ahead and open the Mark43 records management system. And, I haven't really drilled into our ethos, but if we make life as easy as possible for the end users, right? You're seeing a very easy to use, you're seeing modern technology, but
Yeah.
if you make life easy for that patrol officer, for the people that are there at the tip of the spear, then as supervisors, as executives, as folks that are running the agencies, right, your lives will be easier because the data that's captured, it will have guardrails, it will have governance, it will be accurate, it will be trustworthy, and then we'll be able to, move that through your approval streams. But one button click, generate the case, one button click, write report. I'm right here into my modal where I'm, getting ready to write a Mark43 report. I have my different options. Is it a field contact? Is it a crime report? One button click. Yes, it's a crime report. I'm getting all that like fielded data and information and locations data coming over from the CAD event. And then I just say, yes, I want to go ahead and start, auto-filling some of this data and start, capturing the crime report and capturing the information that's, part of this incident, part of this event.
Well, that's huge. I mean, not only does it save time, I want to kind of underscore the accuracy aspect of this, because both you and I know that memories fade. And if you can do all of this on the spot, take pictures, scan license plates or your driver's license, as you kind of gave that example, and on the spot, and then also as an officer, be putting in your notes, like while the event is happening or the minute you get back to your vehicle, while it's all fresh in your mind, that is golden. Because, I mean, as a prosecutor, I can tell you that matters. And the longer you delay, like Kevin, you mentioned going back to the office, writing the report, how many other things have happened between the incident and that moment when you sit down to write that report, to have it so codified in here, where it's feeding from the actual CAD, and then and the information you collected on the spot. I mean, it's amazing. I wish I had something like this, or my officers did in the Air Force when I was a prosecutor, because not only would it make their lives easier, frankly, it would have made my life a lot easier. And at the end of the day, it not only makes people more safe, it actually serves the needs of justice. And that's what this is all about too. So huge fan already. When I met some of your team back several months ago, and they started telling me about all this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And so tell me, Kevin, how does this play with analytics? In other words, we walk through the computer-aided dispatch. We walk through some of the aspects of the RMS, or records management system. How do analytics play with those two things for kind of a holistic solution for our public safety brothers and sisters?
Dawn, you brought up, some amazing points. The need for this data, the need for it to be, easily inputted, the need for it to be accurate, and then the need for there to be guardrails. So, first and foremost, there's very purposeful features that just, bring in the accuracy and again, the guardrails, because that locations data, the crime data, it's referenced several times. The same thing is referenced multiple times in a typical police report. And if you really think about that, those are opportunities to like make a mistake, to misspell something, to be inaccurate. And that's the low hanging fruit, as a prosecutor, that your opposition generally goes after. They go after the process, they go after inaccuracies in data, and they don't necessarily.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first and foremost, again, that tip of the spear, making sure the data is good so that you can have and trust your analytics is case and key to Mark43. So as I'm writing the report and I'm picking the crime, only fields and data related to the crime will show. So right now, simple assault, it's only asking me about hate crime, domestic violence, it's asking me about weapons involved, and that type of specific things. Also, These are fields related to the National Incident-Based Reporting Standard. So the DOJ, January 1st, 2021, instituted a requirement to change from their summary collection of data to a more modern standard. SRS UCR reporting was, dictated in the 1920s. Now we have the Incident-Based Reporting Standard, and we've purposefully built the platform to make it easy to collect that type of data and to submit it to the Department of Justice. Also, downstream, it's going to be easy for you to pull analytics on it. So again, as I pick assaults, right, it asks me about assaults. If I change this to larceny, right, it's going to only ask me about larceny fields, right? Boom, now it's asking me about cargo theft, right? Hate bias, DV. It's not asking me about the assault factors, right? Whenever I scroll down to select like the people involved, the victim right here, Kevin Fray, right here, one button click, Randall Jameson flag, right? Once I add a person to a report one time, I only have a one button click to keep adding them to the report later on. So again, I don't need to make mistakes, right? I have the visual indicators, the mug shots, so I'm picking the right person. We're helping them through this. It's like TurboTax for report writing. Some other areas that are purposeful, the narrative, right? I'll go ahead and hit this. I like to say that officers did not join the force to be Charles Dickens, right? We have this burden of coming in here and like writing this very beautiful narrative. And what's the first thing that gets attacked whenever you get there is like the event and how you documented it, dictated it, right? Right. What we've seen is that sometimes, right, there's guides, right? DOJ, FBI says like this is like kind of the format of a narrative. So you can actually build in like very specific guides into the platform. So depending on what elements you want them to start documenting, you can have a template that says, based on a burglary, based on domestic violence, based on a probable cause or arrest affidavit statement, you can just one button click, pre-populate this information on there. And then if I say victim, I can, highlight this information. Like I move this, I can say at, person, and pick a person from here. And then I can pick like all the fielded data. So again, I was looking at a report or a narrative with an agency several months ago, and the officer used the victim's name 6 times in one sentence and misspelled it each time. Right?
Oh my gosh, that's like you're absolutely right. I mean, that is low hanging fruit. And you may not know this either about me, but I was also a defense counsel, and frankly, I was a good one. I was a good prosecutor and I was a good defense counsel. They flipped me back to prosecution after doing defense for a bit, but absolutely low hanging fruit. That idea that if they, what else did they get wrong, and so to fix all that and have it semi-automated, but making sure that they can go back through it is really, really key. I do have a question for you, Kevin, and I don't know if you have more that you want to show us on the analytics. But I have a question about security and, the security of this system, because I know you mentioned some of these standards and some of the reporting requirements, but also, for example, if you're working with the federal government, we had, I believe your partners, Caresoft, on my Dawn of Autonomy podcast, and they talked about FedRAMP and those requirements. You guys received a FedRAMP High certification, I guess is the right word for this. Explain to people why that's so significant.
Yeah, and I'll share some of the analytics. Again, once you get the data in the platform, you follow the guardrails. Again, we have approval flows. What you get is great, beautiful, aesthetically pleasing analytics that you can use as an agency, right? Good data in, great data out. Now, how that aligns to, security standards, compliance, right? I brushed on it a little bit, and you're getting deeper into platform security when it comes to FedRAMP. But these are all burdens and guardrails that are placed on our public safety agencies at every level. So whether it's, you need to report underneath 4% threshold of, crime data of certain types of crime, or it's, the entire environment of your platform needs to be hardened and secure for cybersecurity and infrastructure purposes. Mark43 is going to be the forefront of all compliance and all, again, these stakeholders that are, dictating, how you have to operate in the field. So I talked about NIBR's IBR reporting. You talked about FedRAMP and cybersecurity. Yes, Mark43 is going to be the only cloud native CAD and records management system with not just a FedRAMP but a FedRAMP high rating. Right, we just got through that. Thousands of hours of research, thousands of hours went into this over the last 3 to 5 years. But ultimately, as you stated, U.S. Secret Service Police, through our relationship with our first customer, Washington D.C. Metro Police Department, and the corroborating agencies within the District of Columbia, Secret Service Police, got on our platform, and based on them being part of the Department of Homeland Security, needed a requirement for the FedRAMP compliance, and so they became our sponsor agency. We updated and kicked up our security compliance internally from things like Zscaler being on our computers to a lot of the operational controls operate our company. There's over 600 controls that we had to implement for FedRAMP High specifically.
Wow.
And we're a small company, so we feel that across everybody. It's not like we can just separate the company between Fed folks and not Fed folks. There are sub separation, but overall this has affected all of our customers and all of us at Mark43, because it's not just the security controls, but it goes into how we hire people, how we clear them, how we update our software and update our internal information, how we deal with and use our Microsoft Office suite internally, and what data we can move between outside of our infrastructure, which is no data. So it's something that we've again put a lot into. It's something that's very unique to us. One of not a lot of overall, just outside of public safety companies, and then within public safety, the only CAD and RMS that is approaching the federal market at this compliance level.
That's awesome. As I listen to everything you're saying and all the things you showed us, I think easy, accurate, modular, secure. And all of those things are so important. And I know, you and I haven't, you mentioned kind of in passing, but some of that information that can be fed in can also come from drones. We're getting close to our time together here, Kevin, wrapping up. And I want to make sure that we end on a success story. So many different public safety agencies, you mentioned, Secret Service, others that you guys are already working with. Do you have one success story that you end this demo with as a great illustration of what you all are about at Mark43? And then, of course, let's make sure that folks know how to contact you and learn more about Mark43. So over to you, Kevin.
Yeah. There's so many success stories out there. We have so many great partners. You talked about drones, and we talked about this, private, as we were preparing for the call. And drones are, I'm a computer scientist from Naval Academy, and I actually wrote my capstone project on, how drones and autonomy are going to affect strike warfare over the next two decades, and strike warfare doctrine in general. And we're actually living what I had been researching 20 plus years ago. Public safety agencies, there are already public safety agencies using drones in our platform in the CAD side of the house, whether it's identifying units as having drones and then automating dispatch, like, hey, there's an alert for a small child that might be missing, that might be on the spectrum, and they're attracted to water. So one of the first things you do is dispatch a drone, go find that kid. They become attracted to the drone, use that drone to draw them away from the water, and then save their lives. So that's an incident that has happened. We have an agency in South Florida that every evening, as soon as it gets dark, they're dispatching a drone to every single event. The drone's going to have night vision. They're going to track the drone as a unit, whether it's data collection, right? Good data in, great data out. Like, you can use the clearance codes, like a drone was used, and you can always go back and search on all your drone related calls, and that could be used to provide justification for grants and things like that, right? So, there's several different sides of it. And then I used, a little bit of a use case earlier, right? We had an officer in Southern California, the mobile application, the moment they got into a foot chase, there's a lot of canals in LA County and in Orange County, right? They got in a foot chase along a canal. They didn't get on the radio. They're running, right? They hopped out their car. When you looked at that map or that the mapping technology, you saw like where the car was. You saw it tethered to the officer running down the street because he had his mobile application in his vest. And then, by the time he, apprehended the suspect and, had their physical altercation, backup was right there. It wasn't,
Wow.
This wasn't, Terminator 2, Skynet. This is the
Yeah.
reality that we're living today, right? So, these are all real use cases. And then I can even, I can talk for days about case management, just sharing data and being able to positively identify suspects through, scars, marks, and tattoos and mug shots and just being able to close cases faster and, just not being able to do that on your previous system. So, Mark43, I'm very proud of what we've been able to do, and I'm very proud of our partners. And I look forward to working with, more and more public safety agencies, especially at the federal level, being that, we have a background in DOD, Dawn, I'm coming for, I'm coming for Lackland. I'm coming for Lackland.
Coming for Lackland. I had a lot of cases down there in San Antonio. Actually, I lived there for 4 years? I lived in San Antonio for 4 years. So love that place. But what I want to ask you real quick, because we are getting close to our time, what's next for Mark43? And in closing, how can folks learn about you and reach you?
What's next for Mark43? So 3 things: mobility, right? More than 80% of first responders said that, things are getting to the smartphone. And I showed you a little bit, I talked a little bit about it just now with some of those use cases, talking about the canal chase and whatnot, right? We're going to continue to drive mobility. We're going to continue to drive, actions happening in your hand. One of the things about COVID, one of the things about, everything that just happened over the last 4 or 5 years is, it's really spurred a lot of retirement. And then what's going to happen with that is there's going to be a lot more younger officers. Forces are undermanned, so they're recruiting like crazy. Some certain standards are getting loose. The military loosened their standards. So younger people are going to be coming to the force, and they want to do everything on their phones. Their heads down all the time. And so that's what Mark43 is going to continue to drive. Artificial intelligence, right? AI. That's becoming a hot topic. I'm actually very, it's the pendulum has swung, right? At first, public was really into it. Government wasn't. Now public seems to be a little bit wary. Government's starting to experiment with AI, all across every level of the government. So Mark43, we're looking at, I would say carefully, thoughtfully, and bringing it back to the ethos, making life as easy as possible for the end user so that downstream your agencies operate, better, much more efficient, stronger, and more accurately, right? So thoughtfulness around our AI approach. And then finally, cybersecurity, right? You talked about FedRAMP High, but look, folks are under attack every day. Every day, every single public safety agency is under attack. I mean, look, we've worked with public safety agencies that were attacked by, the hacker group Anonymous. We're reading FBI reports across the nation about malware and intrusion, and that's a moving plane when you really think about security overall. So we're going to be on the forefront of that. Larry Zorio, or CISO, is on the IGES Security Committee. The cloud native technology allows us to not just meet, but surpass it and look at standards that are coming down 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now and already be compliant. We're talking about encryption at rest. We're talking about, your TLS standards. So those are the 3 major areas that Mark43 is going to lead from the front.
All right. Well, you're already doing that, and I'm really looking for more and more of this going forward. And fun fact, everybody, we're going to have Mark43 on the Dawn of Autonomy in September. So super excited to connect some of these dots and keep watching all the different developments with this amazing. So Kevin, once again, how can they reach you or Mark43 and learn more?
Of course, we have our great website, www.mark43.com. I am Fray at mark43.com. That is Foxtrot, Romeo, Alpha, Yankee. And then of course, you can go straight to the website, you can get ingress. The capabilities that we have to reach out, come back to a lot of the same group of people that work with me regularly. So, really appreciate it. I'm also on LinkedIn, very active. So if you have any questions for me, I'm always here. If you want to talk about anything, I love to talk, as you've probably seen today.
He does love to talk, but it's great because you were perfect for this demo. And now everybody out there knows, because this world premiere of the public safety platform of the 21st century, Mark43. Check them out. Thanks so much for your time, Kevin, and everybody else for watching. We are out here.
Thank you.